Hey, how's it going?
Good. Welcome to another episode of React 30.
React 30, I haven't heard that in a long time.
I was looking through my podcasts on my phone this weekend and I found our old podcast, React 30.
Yeah, I think I discovered the other day that I'm still paying like $8 a month or whatever to S3 to host those old episodes. I think we recorded them in like 2015 or something.
That was a long time ago.
Ever since then, I've been paying $8 a month to Amazon.
Nice. Well, I wonder if anyone even listens to it. I always enjoyed trying to.
Well, I mean, they must still get some traffic, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't even charge you for it.
It's probably just ChatGPT indexing us.
No, people care.
Oh man. How's your Veterans Day?
Excellent. Spent most of the day building a tar parser.
Oh.
So, yeah, I'm trying to parse tar balls with JavaScript. See, the frustrating thing about Cloudflare workers are so good for so many things. But at the end of the day, they're just pretending to be Node. They're just pretending. And so, you can only get so far pretending to be Node. Cloudflare Workers is using this thing called unenv. Try saying that clearly, quickly. It's very difficult. Unenv is it's like a JavaScript polyfill. Actually, there's this guy who works on a lot of this stuff. It's like unJS, unenv.
Unpackage.
I'm kind of wondering if he got his inspiration from me. Yeah, from Unpackage. But anyway, he's working on this thing called unenv, and it's supposed to be like a polyfill for stuff on like Node APIs, basically. That's supposed to run on, I don't know, like winter CG JavaScript environments.
So unenv is like, get rid of that. I'm in a different environment. We're
just gonna pretend like all these environments are the same.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's a lot of stuff that's missing. So, I mean, the project is still young. Maybe with time it'll get really, really, robust and everything. But right now it's just really, really young. So anyway, I was trying to use the tar stream library, which is a Node library. I was just trying to use that on my Cloudflare worker, and it was like, nope. In general, like, yeah, the whole like using web stream. Anyway, I'm just rambling. Using web streams in Node leaves a little bit to be desired at this point.
Node is still king.
Yeah, people don't want to hear me ramble about this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was parsing tar balls. What about you? You're putting up decorations for Christmas?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about a second ago. It got up to 63 degrees yesterday here in Utah.
Oh wow, that's enough to melt the snow.
Yeah, and I went snowboarding Saturday. One of the Solitude ski resort, they opened up the Bunny Hill. You can't ski anywhere else but the Bunny Hill. They had enough snow on there. They stuck all the rails out. Took my kids. It was an absolute blast to be out on the mountain again. But yeah, yesterday was in the 60s, so I was like, time to get all the Halloween crap down, get the Christmas stuff up before it gets cold, and it did. We've probably got an inch of snow already in the valley right now, so mountains should be even better.
Yeah, my in-laws are telling me it's snowing up there. So
yeah, they should have another couple of lifts open, I think, on the 16th is what they're forecasting. So anyway, pretty pumped about that. And then messed around with React Router docs, which is probably what people are interested to hear about. So yeah, we don't have a whole lot to cover today. We've been heads down trying to get the React Router v7 release out and get API changes that happened with React Router v7 back into Remix. been trying to get as many of those into Remix V2, so that as soon as V7's out, people can like have a nice upgrade path. But we probably won't get all of those in right from the start, because we got to get V7 out. We're all getting a little bit grouchy that we haven't released this yet.
Yeah, V7 is taking way too long. It is going to be out before Thanksgiving, or you will
we're just going to delete the project.
Never hear from me again, because I will go drive off a cliff. And like, what happened to Michael? I don't know. V7 never shipped, and he noped on out of here.
I'm out. Do you find that angry coding is some of your best code?
No, not best code, but like sometimes you just got to get into that mode to ship stuff.
Yeah, I feel like at the end of so many things, I just end up in an anger state where it's like you've been working, you've been talking, you've been planning and doing so much stuff, and then I get into like this angry mode where it's like, that's it. We're doing this. Nothing's getting in the way. So we're kind of, I think we're getting there. But yeah, so I've been working on the React Router docs, and just want to take a second to talk about just clarity. I was the docs were coming along nicely, and then I just realized that they were emphasizing the framework features that we've been building into React Router that then Remix takes advantage of, and then stuff that we brought from Remix over into React Router, like the Vite plugin. And the docs are just kind of overemphasizing all of that framework stuff, where there are so many use cases still for the way that people use just straight up React Router today, without the Vite plugin, without route modules, without loaders and actions and all that stuff, right? Like we're on Restream right now. They use React Router. I don't like, you got Twitter, X, you've got Linear, they're using React Router. So like imagine you're Linear, you've got a whole data synchronization replication layer, right? Like the way that their data mutations work is you click a button and they just write to an object in their code and then re-render, and like that's it. And then that write goes down into their data layer to IndexedDB, and then that thing synchronizes with the backend. So all that stuff, there's anything that causes a pending state in a typical UI with a local first architecture like that, you just don't even have. And so we've got millions of React Router apps like that. And the docs were just overemphasizing all of our framework stuff, which I think is incredibly important and incredibly useful for tons of people. But there's also a totally different way to build a React app with React Router that people have been doing for a decade now, which is just as valid, right? So like the stuff we're bringing over from Remix is useful for I think anybody. You want to build a web app, like these APIs are useful and good. But there's some people where like, if you went to those docs and just saw that stuff, you're going to think, oh, okay, React Router has changed completely. Maybe we should do something else. And so I just really didn't want to give that impression, because all the framework stuff that we do relies on the same React Router internals that Linear is using, right? And everybody else is using React Router. So we're working hard to make sure that the docs communicate that clearly, that there's kind of like two paradigms of React Router. You got component routing that just matches URL and renders components, and then everything else is up to you. And then you got like a full-blown framework because you want to have some opinions and you want to get a fast start on a new app. Those framework features are going to be huge for you. And so just trying to equally emphasize those two branches of how to use React Router. So it's kind of hard to communicate, but I think we're gonna get it. It'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, when we release V7, we don't want everybody to just think like you have to buy into this whole framework now that is Remix, right? I mean,
yeah, and Vite and the way we code split
goes with it, right? Because if you've been using React Router, you've probably been using React Router for a long time. You've got your own build already. You've got your own opinions about how to do all this stuff. And so that's React Router as a library. Feel free to keep using it like that. Right?
Yeah.
Feel free to keep going that way. If you're looking for more of like a frameworky type thing, more of like a Remix type thing, or like a Next.js type thing, well, React Router has a framework mode and we'll ship a Vite plugin, and we'll ship all this stuff so you can use it just like a framework. And we think that's pretty good too. So
yeah, and it's not like it's two projects that we just mashed together. Like it's all pretty much the same code. It's just how you access the features.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is we built Remix because eventually everybody who's building a React Router app runs into the same questions as you scale it out. You run into, well, how do I do code splitting, and how do I do server rendering, and how do I do, data loading and all of this stuff?
What do I do after I post a form and I want to redirect to somewhere else?
Yeah, exactly. So eventually,
spinner up when you're navigating.
Yeah. So if you're using React Router as a library, you only get so far before you have to answer all of those questions. Either with your own custom framework that you've built up around React Router, but yeah, so React Router now has a framework that answers a lot of those questions for you.
Yeah, but if you've already answered those questions, you can keep on using your answers.
Yeah. One thing that we did ship, just in the interest of like helping people upgrade and make the move to React Router v7, is we actually added support for a routes TS file in Remix 2.14. So this is really just to assist with the migration to React Router v7. So we have like the unstable route config flag. You can throw that in there. The routes TS, we talked about that on our last live stream, right?
Yeah. Brooks gave us a nice preview of it all. So
yeah. So yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's definitely the direction we're going. So if you're on the live stream, you probably care about making that migration. You probably want to start thinking about how to go to React Router v7, which is where that's where all the future development is going to happen. But yeah, we're adding stuff in 2.14 to help you, in Remix 2.14 to help you make that move. Also, something I was very happy about, the ESLint crowd is going to hate me for this, but we deprecated Remix ESLint config. Sorry, Chance. That was never a library that I ever wanted to publish. I don't care about your ESLint. I don't want to use ESLint. You can fight over your ESLint config all with you and your team. I will not get in the way. I will not tell you guys how to write your code or where to put your semicolons. I thought that was funny. We deprecated that one.
Anytime I'm making a demo or something with Remix for videos or whatever, or I've got like a side project idea that I want to like try to spike out, I like bring in the template and then I start coding, and then ESLint starts yelling at me about something that's like bull crap. And I'm like, how did this get here? And then I go delete it.
Yeah. I think people, they kind of want the hand holding. They want somebody to kind of tell them like, this is bad code, this is good code to a certain extent. But there's numerous ESLint configs out there. You can cargo cult one of those. We're not really in the business of telling you how to write your code.
I remember when I was new, I loved that stuff. But when I was new, it was like you run your code through an XHTML validator to make sure that all your HTML is valid XHTML. Yeah, it gave me that feeling of like, okay, the people that actually know what they're doing have just told me that this thing is good. So yeah, nothing wrong with using ESLint, but I just
it used to be like if you had a blog like that was like bragging rights, right?
Yeah, stick it down to the bottom.
Ran this page through XHTML, and you got the green check mark from the W3C. And we're like, this is valid. This page is valid. You're getting quality, hypertext here.
So I think I've told you this story before. When I was pretty early in my career, when I was just kind of like learning JavaScript and stuff like that, and I had put probably Shadowbox. I don't know if it was Shadowbox, but one of those Lightbox things on my website. And then I put another plugin on my site, and then like the site busted, and I was like, what's going on? And so I had to figure out that, well, one of them used MooTools and one of them used jQuery, and I couldn't use them at the same time. and because they both took over the dollar global. And so I was like, okay, I guess I have to pick one of these things, whatever the heck these are, a framework or something. And so I just ran their websites through the validator, and MooTools had no errors and jQuery had HTML errors. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll go with MooTools.
Oh, wow.
That's how I picked it. I had nothing else to go on, right? I had no other signal to go by other than
That's
like,
hilarious.
oh, this thing said there's no errors.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny. People probably do that with Lighthouse now and Remix's website.
Yeah. But yeah, I think other than that, yeah, the whole push is towards V7, and which should be out before Thanksgiving, like we said. So other than that, I think we can probably keep this live stream pretty short and give you at least a half an hour of your morning back.
Yeah, we're just head down on V7. I want to address 2 quick questions right now. Somebody asked, I don't know where it's at now, and it's fine if we don't pull it up, but somebody asked, what's the server story in React Router 7 versus Remix? It's the same. You can build custom adapters. We've got some adapters. We didn't really change anything there. And somebody said, I just started a project with Remix a month ago. Should I migrate to React Router? If you want to try the pre-releases, go for it, but they are pre-releases. So I would say just stick with Remix until we get this thing released. And then the migration is mostly non-breaking, especially that we have some community members making code mods that will like update your packages and just the type stuff. But yeah, the migration from Remix v2 to React Router v7 should be like, you should be able to do that in an afternoon.
Yeah, Jay Restall made an awesome code mod. Shout out to Jay Restall. That Brooks actually used to upgrade our own website from Remix 2 to React Router 7.
Yeah.
And it worked pretty well for him. He did the whole thing in like 20 minutes. So.
And then I've seen another question that keeps flying by a couple of people now, like, why is server rendering the default in React Router now? It's not. It's what we were just saying at the beginning. Like, React Router can either be used as a library or a framework. There is no default of server rendering. It's just how you choose to use it. And even if you use the Vite plugin, you can say SSR faults, and there's no server rendering. So React Router 6 to 7, if you're caught up on future flags, is 100% non-breaking. You only get the server features and stuff like that if you bring in the Vite plugin. But yeah, I think that's it. We should just get back to V7.
Cool. Thanks everybody for joining the live stream, and yeah, we'll keep it nice and short, and we'll see you next time.